Hello, I'm John Perry, and I'm joined by Dr. Ned Canfield. And Representative Canfield, a lot to talk about today. Let's chat a little bit about skilled trades here in Michigan, though. The 2016 fiscal year budget that was just approved by the Michigan House and Senate, and that will surely be signed, actually focuses more on those skilled trade jobs. What do you hear in your own district, though? Do you hear from constituents who say, you know, I'm having a hard time finding a welder or a diesel mechanic or a plumber or what have you?
Absolutely, that's an issue. We have over the years kind of sold the idea that people need to have a college education, quote unquote, traditional college education, but everybody is not going to be a lawyer or a doctor or a legislator. You know, people are going to, we need plumbers, we need carpenters, we need welders, and we have a lot of people that are very good at those occupations. Interestingly enough, those occupations pay very good money, and there's a lot of will to educate them in our communities too. I mean, we're hearing folks saying that, you know, we need to have those kind of people available.
And you and I were actually chatting just before this, saying that, you know, while unemployment is low compared to 2009, obviously we'd like to maybe see some more robust employment numbers. But at the same time, economists at the University of Michigan are even saying that in some of these skilled trades, we could actually be looking at a labor shortage. It's probably already existing in some places now, and certainly in a lot of places, that scenario is going to play out before too long. We need people filling those jobs, don't we?
We absolutely do. I believe we do have a shortage right now of technical trades, and have been saying that for several years. We need to really bolster those ability for those folks to come out of our local programs. I believe we can teach many of these people to come right out of high school to be job ready. I think our technical programs in our communities, the ISDs, at least in our district, are very well suited to train these kids up and are doing those types of jobs. I think we ought to push recognition down a little bit farther so that people can get out of high school, have some certifications, and go right into work.
And of course, at one point we did see that type of scenario play out in our state with maybe more of a focus on shop class and then perhaps moving on to some type of apprenticeship once the individual got out of high school.
Certainly when I was growing up, that was a very common way that most of my friends and relatives obtained jobs, as they had an apprentice type program where they worked while they learned. The beauty of that type of an education is that it incurs much less debt than a traditional four-year college education, where most folks cannot work, or if they do work, they work in a minimum wage type scenario. In general, apprenticeship programs traditionally, although they paid less than the journeyman salary, they really had living wage salaries that these people worked under those conditions and learned their craft, and then once they developed that 5-year or whatever, took the test, then they actually got a bump. It improved their lifestyle as time goes on. And I think we need to go back to doing more of that.
And to a degree, too, a lot of those jobs are economic engines. That individual might be working for someone else as a younger person, but maybe by the time they hit their 30s, you know, they're employing a number of people themselves.
Yes. Yes. We need to find ways to make that easy as well. So to have less regulation for business so that it is easy to be in business. And I think that that's another important thing that we're going to try to continue to work on as time goes on here.
And of course, part of the piece here too is agriculture, which by most standards is our state's #2 industry. Ag, if you go to a farm now, you will find very quickly, is a very high-tech proposition, isn't it?
Well, it certainly is. You know, the era of the dumb farmer is long past, long before I was ever a guy working with agriculture. My family has been in farming for several generations. I think real men farm, the rest of us do something else. But it is high tech. I mean, they have GPS systems for running their equipment. Actually, most of their equipment costs more than my father's farm cost back when I was growing up. But they have big equipment. They do big jobs. They provide lots of opportunity for employment as well.
Lateraling over a little bit too, obviously, ag plays another role in our economy, and that's agritourism. That can revolve around county fair season, which is coming up. That can revolve around the roadside stands that are a fixture of so many places across Michigan. There's that angle too that we should be focusing on, and I imagine as a first-term state representative, you'll be spending some time at county fairs yourself this summer.
Well, certainly. Traditionally, our children have always taken animals to our local fairs, and I've always attended local fairs from the time I was a kid until even now. And so I'm very much looking forward to that. We've had a little setback this year with the avian flu condition. We're looking at ways in which kids can still have their projects, do them through media perhaps, and then still make the deal, sell them at auction. It's going to be a little more difficult. We're not sure how all of that's going to play out, but I know at least our boards are looking at those kinds of things. But fair time is really important time, and it's a lot of fun.
Speaking of tourism, summer tourism season is now in full swing across our state. Again, this is an economic driver. Obviously, Pure Michigan, and there's an additional $4 million going into the next state budget for Pure Michigan, has been a help.
I think that that's very true. There was a lot of discussion that we were going to cut the Pure Michigan program. And indeed, we have increased the amount that we're spending in Pure Michigan. We feel that tourism is a huge economic driver for our state. In our communities up in the Thumb, people come up and look at the wind turbines. They come to the fairs. They look for produce. We have some extraordinary farm markets up in the Thumb of Michigan now that people come from long distances to see.
Yeah, along those lines, do you notice now when you're driving around the district maybe a few more cars with out-of-state plates on them than maybe you saw 10 years ago?
Well, certainly, and we have always had a tourism base in the summertime. We've had a lot of people who had cottages and that type of thing on the borders of our lakes, and the traffic is getting thicker. So we're pleased with that. We're looking forward to a very good season this year, and we're going to keep on going.
And it underscores the point, too, that a lot of these businesses are, in fact, small, local, family businesses, the cottages, the small place on the lake, the bait shop, that type of thing.
Sure, and we need to stimulate small business. That is the engine that drives our whole nation. And, although we probably aren't feeling that the economic recovery is complete at this point, we are starting to feel that small businesses can again begin to thrive. And we're very hopeful at this point that we're going to do consistently just a little better every year.
We're talking about tourism, maybe tourism in reverse. You could probably do a nice day trip from your district down to our state capitol. There's some restoration work going on right now. But still, if people would like to come by, see the Capitol, maybe the State Historic Museum down the street, your office could help with that. Folks should just give you a call.
Absolutely. It'd be great to see people. I talk to folks in our district all the time. We've got a wonderful place to come down to, and it is truly historic this year that the Capitol is all covered with scaffolding. And some people have said that detracts from the appearance of the Capitol. I would suggest just the opposite. This is a once every 50-year renovation that's going on. I think it's an extraordinary thing. It's actually geometrically interesting. And so it would be wonderful to come down here this year, see the Capitol all scaffold up, and then maybe return next year when it's a glowing, beautiful appearance of what it had back in
1878
or 79. Yeah, so.
Representative, thank you very much.
Thank you, John. It's been my pleasure.
And I'm John Perry. Thank you for joining us.